Welcome to Ask a Puppy Trainer Show. Woo! Episode 62. Can we turn up the brightness on this one a little bit? No. Okay. Okay. Never mind. So we have a decent amount of questions today. Probably not enough to fill up the whole hour just because I talk so fast. So if you guys want to throw in questions, I'd love to get to them if I get an opportunity to. All right. So one of our first questions is from our Instagram video, Fireworks Safety. I am so glad you asked this because this is going to be a huge thing that a lot of people are going to be asking us questions about over the next couple days. And honestly, if you don't ask the questions, you're going to wish you did. So see how much we can get out of this one. From Spinsista. That was close. How do you desensitize a dog that's a block away from the fireworks? The YouTube videos on fireworks are not loud enough. I bought dog earmuffs. And that helped last year, but this year we decided to go to the coast away. We decided to go to the coast away from where people are. How do you desensitize a dog to fireworks? That is a whole process. So I've even had people literally hook up to their PA system in their house or like to the speakers of their TV, blast as loud as they can. A lot of the fireworks though, it's not about the sound of the fireworks, it's the bass of the fireworks. So like the fireworks that are down the street from your house, like the firecrackers, that's not a big deal. It's the ones that are the mortars in the air that make that boom, that like window rattling like boom, that vibration in the ground that scares dogs most. There's only so much you can do to desensitize them. You've already watched our video, and in this video, guys, it talks about putting a dog in a crate next to a speaker, maybe moving the speaker farther away to start, getting it closer and closer, louder and louder. And basically what Spinsista is saying is that no matter how loud it gets, it's never going to emulate the actual fireworks outside. And you're right, Spinsista, it will never emulate the fireworks outside. There's a certain degree where you can't emulate it any closer than what you've already done. Our best recommendation is create a quiet, calm environment for your pup. Put them in their crate. If you have a walk-in closet, put the crate in the walk-in closet. All the jackets and all that can actually like create like a muffling effect. If you have like a studio and you can put a lot of like boxes in there and kind of surround the crate with it, you're just looking for as much as you can to muffle the sound coming from the vibration on the ground and also from the fireworks outside. You can only do your best though. Our recommendation is always keep a dog who's extremely fearful in the crate and make sure all your doors are shut. And if there is someone opening the door and the dog's not in the crate, the dog always has to be on leash and someone's holding that leash. Not on a collar that can come off the head, a harness, a secure body harness. So you can hold the dog and make sure they don't move away. But honestly, best advice, put them in the crate. It's easiest, it's already a comfort zone for them. If you've been following our series and you've kind of conditioned them to be in the crate, easiest place for them. Did I answer everything? And you're going to the coast away from where people are? Even better. That's probably a better solution. Anything I can give you is leave the fireworks out. I know a lot of people that go to the desert because there are good portions of the desert where fireworks are illegal and you can like set fires and stuff, so they don't do any fireworks shows. You can play around with that. Jade Bayland, potty trained off leash. Oops, moving with no fenced yard, won't potty with leash, how to fix? They gotta go eventually. Easy solution. So every time, I don't know if you've actually done any crate training too, but to potty train a dog with leash, you have to start doing crate training, or at least you have to consider doing crate training. How I do crate training with on-leash potty is I put the dog in the crate. I make him wait an hour and a half for a young puppy, maybe 2.5, 3 hours for an older dog, 6 months or older. And then when I bring him out of the crate, the first thing I do, harness, leash to the harness, bring them outside. If they're prone to having accidents in, you can even carry them to the area you want them to go on. Find an area that they've already frequented before, they like to pee on it most often, put them in the middle of that. You want to stand there like a tree for 2 to 3 minutes. Don't move unless they circle you. Then you can circle to keep yourself untangled. Don't follow them around the yard. All that does is create more sniffing, and with more sniffing, they're going to pee less and less because they basically want to keep exploring. By putting them in that one contained area, wait for 2 to 3 minutes, all they can do is eventually sniff and then go potty. If they sit down and stop sniffing in general and they don't look like they're doing anything, pick them up, put them back in their crate, take off the leash and the gear, close it, lock it, cover it, wait 15 to 30 minutes. A young puppy, I might do 5 to 15. I'm talking like maybe 3 to 4 months or even 2 to 4 months. For an older puppy, I'll do 15 to 30 minutes. I'm talking like 4 to 6 months or 6 to 8 months, an actual older dog. What you're basically conditioning is every single time that they go back in the crate, they still have to go potty. That never got solved. That solution never presented itself because they didn't actually go for you. So every time that you put them back in, they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I was gonna sniff the grass for 20 more minutes and eventually go potty, but by you putting them back in, it builds up. By the second or third time that you take them out, put them in the exact same spot, 2 to 3 minutes, now something that they could hold before is a state of emergency. They gotta go and they gotta go now. Put them in that spot, wait them out, and eventually they will go potty. Once they do go potty, wait a couple seconds, and when they're finished, like the bladder fully empties or the poop fully comes out, that's when I say, good dog, good potty. So you're still giving the go potty, like that potty phrase. It could even be go potty, good dog. So then they start understanding that go potty reference is actually the key word that they need to actually go potty. But I don't want to say it halfway through, otherwise they're more likely to suck it back in, get excited because you're praising them, and then they'll have an accident inside of your house. And until they actually go potty, I don't give free time. I think the longest I've had was one of our more challenging dogs here at Puppy Academy, and we did it for almost 2.5 hours of 15 minutes in, 3 minutes out. 30 minutes in, 3 minutes out, 30 minutes in, 3 minutes out, until eventually they looked at me, looked at the ground, and then pottied in the spot that I gave them. It took a while. So be patient. Every dog's a little bit different. Some dogs are more stubborn, and some dogs just get really frustrated being on the leash. Another thing you could even do is when they're doing their free time inside the house, let's say they do eventually go potty, but maybe you don't have the 2.5 hours or that 30-minute window to get them to go potty and wait them in and out, because when they're on the leash, they freeze, like a lot of dogs will. You can put them, so you can get your potty off leash, do whatever you need to do. I mean, I understand work needs and all that. And then when they have their free time in the house, you put on that harness, you put on the leash, and they spend their 30 minutes to an hour of free time in a playpen on leash, or outside of a playpen in a cordoned off area on leash. They might still freeze and spend 20 minutes standing there like a little statue. It's actually kind of cute. I think it is, at least. It's funny looking. And then eventually they're gonna start moving. You could throw a toy, you can maybe throw some treats on the ground. They'll build up the confidence to move around, eventually pick up the food, play with the toy, and then in 3 or 4 days, you have a dog running around on the harness, no issues, and your potty time on leash will be significantly easier. I have also noticed that if you put it on the flat collar, for a lot of the smaller dogs, there's something called opposition reflex. And when they feel that you're pulling against that collar, which is on their head, which means you're guiding the head, that might create more resistance because you're demanding a direction from them. So start on the harness. If you can't get it on the actual potty time, try it during the free time, build up confidence and independence being on the harness and leash, and then try the potty thing again. Okay, that was kind of circular. All right. How can I teach my 10-week-old Frenchie to go to her bed on command? Well, that's called place command. So usually what I'll do is I'll do leash and harness. I'll do high reward treats or kibble, whatever my dog goes for. If your dog is super motivated on kibble, I'll use kibble. I have leash in hand, loose. It can't be holding tension. Again, opposition reflex. I hold tension. A dog usually wants to resist and go the opposite way of where you're pulling. So try to keep that arm loose. Distractions to a minimum. Have your treat pouch on your hip. Super, super important. You need to be like that treat factory treat machine until they pay attention to you, and then you can start getting eye contact. Grab a small couple treats, put the food to the nose, guide them towards the dog bed, say place as they're putting their front 2 feet on, wait for the last 2 feet to touch so all 4 feet are on the bed, say good, give the treat, and then say break for a second treat and release them off the dog bed. This is just conditioning the dog to go on the bed and then come off. A lot of dogs don't want to go on the bed because they expect to be forced to stay there for a prolonged period of time. Make it easy. Go on, get a treat, leave the bed, get a treat. Go on, get a treat, leave the bed, get a treat. And then eventually when it's consistent, there's no more struggle, get them on the bed, ask them for a sit, pause for 1 or 2 seconds or even just a quick moment, good treat, and then break and release. You want to build it up until eventually you can stand tall in front of the dog bed and do what we call the rapid reward, the triple treat, which is good, treat, pause. They're looking at you, waiting. Good, treat, pause. Good, treat, pause. And then eventually break and release them from the bed. So you're building up the amount of duration they can spend on it. And then you have, place command is an amazing, amazing command. And place in general is a great tool for you to use. Most of my dogs by the end of Puppy Academy are doing 45 minutes to an hour and a half on place without me standing right next to them, without me holding the leash. That's my goal to build up to. Honestly though, there's a ton of great resources on YouTube that you can look up. We probably have 4 or 5 different videos on Instagram that you can check out as well. Yeah, a lot of great resources if you want more of a step-by-step breakdown. All right. How can I teach my 10-week-old puppy to sit and potty train in an apartment? Is this the same person? It's gotta be the same person. Okay. So sit, one finger, you wanna lure. So I wanna have, again, my treat pouch. Grab a treat out of it, treat to the nose, and I'm going to slowly go up and over the head, almost like a rainbow, like a little waterfall. We're gonna food to the nose, one finger up, go up, and as they start following it, go back. You don't want to go so far back that it looks like they're in the exorcism, the head's tilted backwards. You want to go high enough up to where their head goes up, which means their butt will follow. That's just the mechanics of a dog. Head goes up, you wait them out. This is uncomfortable, but not so uncomfortable that they want to stand up, and eventually the butt will go down. Good. Mark the second that butt touches the ground, treat, and then break, release for a second piece of food. Again. Good. Treat, and then release. And potty training, we have a ton of really, really great resources for the potty training. I think I even talked about a few of them even earlier on this video. Potty training, first thing you gotta do is DM us for a crate schedule or a structure schedule so we can kind of get you guys on that rotation, especially in an apartment. And then we'll also go over how to bring a dog out, how to use a potty pad, or how to get them down the stairs. But the biggest thing is that crate training, that's numero uno, especially for apartment potty training. And then when they're out of the crate, how do they go potty, where do they go potty, and how do they get their free time? The minute the dog comes out of the crate, just like I mentioned earlier, harness, leash, take them to the area you want them to go, whether it's outside on a patio, inside on a potty pad, wait them out 2 to 3 minutes, rinse and repeat, put them back in the crate if they don't go, and eventually you'll create a cycle to where they know exactly where to go. I do recommend you teach this on leash because it'll be easier for them to understand what you want from them. If you do it off leash, they're more likely to go 2 feet on the potty pad, the back 2 feet off, and they'll pee right next to the potty pad. So you have more leverage and more guidance to help them understand what you're looking for. Guys, throw those questions in the chat. I'm going through them quickly. I only got 4 left. I have a 10-month-old Papillon. How do I train him for recall? I would like to be able to go off leash with him eventually for hikes and walks. Okay, so when I teach recall, it takes anywhere, so we actually call it our relationship building exercise. When we teach recall, it takes anywhere between 2,000 to 3,000 repetitions of recall with food on leash before a dog is able to do it on leash around distractions without food. 2,000 to 3,000 repetitions with food on leash and minimal distractions. Once you hit that number, then you can start doing it with minimal food on leash around distractions. Off leash is a completely different game. As we start building up those 2,000 to 3,000 repetitions, you can start kind of weaning off. Maybe you do 1 treat for every 4 or 2 treats for every 4, 3 treats for every 4, work your way down, and then get a long leash. Practice doing a sit, stay, good, treat, walk 4 or 5 feet back, call your dog on the long leash. You can even do it around your living room where they're sniffing something, kind of exploring, grab your little treat bag, let them, ooh, they see it, grab a piece of food, dog come, good, treat. Break, let them kind of walk off again. You're doing random recall all throughout the day. If you want a really, really strong recall to eventually be off leash, you are literally having a treat pouch on you at all times throughout the day. Your puppies need to know the sound that when that bag opens and you grab a treat, they're going to earn something. And eventually you can kind of wean off doing treating every single time. Then you want to build it up to outside, go to a park, let them smell around. And as they get a good smell, dog come, they don't come right away, start walking backwards, create a little bit of leash tension on that harness. And as they start looking good, mark the moment where they look at you, show them the food, continue walking backwards because that's your momentum. You moving back is an invitation to move towards you. You moving in is you telling them, hey, back off and relax. That's why when dogs jump, we step in firmly, but when we want to invite them to us, we walk back in an opening way. That's the easiest way to teach recall. Off leash, I'll be honest, just as a insurance thing, I'm not going to tell you to take your dog to the park off leash until you trust them 99.99% of the time to listen to you. Honestly, there's a lot of different training tools out there. You guys can check them out. Check out Off Leash Recall on Google, and you could even probably find a trainer around you that will work with you to introduce a couple different training tools to help you have more consistency. The biggest thing though is you need that 99.9% reliability that your dog's gonna come before I take a dog off leash, not in an enclosed environment. So yeah, that one's more about safety than anything else. So yeah, just do your best, and if you're really focused on that, seek out professional help. That's probably the best advice I can give you. I have an adolescent dog that we found at 9 months old. He takes to direction well, but I'm not sure how to start with him. What do you suggest? As an adolescent dog, 9 months old, takes direction well. Well, one, I would suggest you join our online program. See what I did there, Ricky? And there's a lot of great videos on that one. And it starts honestly from relationship building exercise, the one I mentioned earlier, just teaching the dog to come. And it goes all the way to doing long leash recall, inside or outside on your walks, or even just at a park. But you're basically trying to go through a series. You're trying to teach come in a proficient way to where you're using all those repetitions. You're teaching leash control. You're teaching sit, down, come, place, stay. All of those inside the house first. You can't expect the dog, especially a 9-month-old dog that probably hasn't had that much training yet. And I think you said you rescued them. You found them. So maybe they've had amazing training. They just got out of the yard, but I'm going to make the assumption that they probably haven't had that much training. They've just been a stray for a long time. That means that you want to teach everything inside the house, build up consistency, and break down some of that resilience to not wanting to listen, and then eventually work them to backyard, front yard, sidewalk in front of your house, neighborhood walk, park across the street from your house, or closest park to you, and then eventually build up to where they listen to you in multiple environments. If you're really struggling with that though, a 9-month-old adolescent dog that you found may have some underlying issues that you don't even know about. You might even consider professional help for that one as well, especially if those issues pop up. But yeah, I would say you want to work on the impulse control by teaching them inside. And once that impulse control inside is good, then start venturing into the outside and building them up slowly. Is there any way to help a puppy who's scared of walking in new areas? I can't seem to get his attention in any way when in a new space. Ooh, this is Bethany's bread and butter. I'm going to do my best for it though. So this is a fear stage probably. And maybe your dog has built up a really strong comfort in the areas that you're used to walking in. But when you venture out to new areas, they're unsure. So to get their attention, you need to do more food work inside your home, more food work in the areas that they're good at. So then eventually they build up to being able to listen to you in these new environments. And I'm not talking 1 or 2 days of it. I'm talking maybe a full week of doing all of your walks inside with tons of food, tons of focus. And it's not like the instant gratification reward. It's dog come, heel, walk a few steps, good. And then treat. Grab the focus, get them used to giving you focus, and then venture into the area that they're familiar with outside and replicate the same techniques until eventually you can come to a stop, tell them sit, and they're just looking and waiting, watching you. That's the type of focus that you're looking for, because when you go in this new environment, you're still going to lose all of that focus. You want to build a threshold. So this is my good environment. This is the environment that they listen to. This is my bad environment that they don't listen in. When I move from here to here, they stop listening. But look at this in between. This is my threshold, the area between good and bad. So I want to move my dog to the threshold and work them in that threshold. If they stop listening and they stop taking food, that means you're above threshold. So I want to work down a couple steps. That might mean I'll go 20 feet close to the area that they do listen in, not adventuring to the new area, get them following food, take a few steps closer to the new area. They're still following food, work them for that day in that one area. The biggest thing is don't progress too fast. The faster you try to progress, the more likely your dog is going to shut down. It's going to take you twice as long to work up to that area again. Find a spot where they take food, work them for 1 or 2 days. Take a few more, maybe 10 or 20 more feet to that more challenging area with more distractions, more dogs, more people. For us at our house, that's the park across the street. Our dogs walk amazingly on the sidewalk, but anytime like my girlfriend's sister-in-law just got a new puppy, I was teaching him to walk on the sidewalk. An angel. The minute we took one step onto that park, not even on the grass, just on the walkway, changed. All the focus was gone. So it took them almost a week of walking on that sidewalk before they could venture into the park. That's kind of what you're doing. You're building up a stronger, bigger threshold so they can then move into the more challenging environment, which can take a while. So don't rush it. Take your time. That's the best advice. Any experience with a Rhodesian Ridgeback? He is so stubborn at 8 months old. 2 trainers have given up on him, but I won't. Please help. I love that. Yeah, I have a lot of, we actually have quite a bit of experience. We've probably had 5 or 6 Rhodesian Ridgebacks in the last 2 years, but I don't see a question, so I'm not sure how to really help you on this one. So if you guys do on the following week send us a question, I'd love to help you out with that question. But until I see one, I'm not really sure how to help you.
Are there general tips you would advise for a stubborn 8-month-old?
I would give the same tips I'd give for any dog. Back it up a little bit. If you have a dog that's now 8 months old and being more stubborn, I would try to go back to the basics of what I did when they were 6 months old or 4 months old or even 3 months old when they were following. So let's say I have a dog that's 4 months old. I'm working them in my house, in my backyard, in my front yard. I know they're not ready to go on a walk because the minute I hit that sidewalk, it's like a new portal to another universe and I lose all focus from them. That means I'm going to stay in the areas that they work well in. I have a 8-month-old Ridgeback, but I'm just going to make the assumption that they were doing amazing at 4 and 6 months old. They had 8 months, huge adolescence stage, and now we got to kind of backtrack. Go back to your front and backyard. Get them following food again. Get them doing your heel routine that we have in all of our videos to where they take a step past you, say dog come, they look at you, good treat, heel, turn and move in the opposite direction. Maybe go back to your basics. Taking food in easy environments and then build up to working along the threshold of the challenging environment versus the good environment. If you're just getting a lot of jumping and stuff too, they go back to wearing a leash all throughout the day, 24/7, that they're not in the crate or a playpen. I don't know any Rhodesian Ridgeback that's 8 months old that's still using a playpen, because literally their elbow joint is higher than most playpens at that point. But you're going back to using leash at all times. There's no free access outside. Go back to your basics. Go back to using the crate like you did when they were 4 months old. You have to take away some of the freedom you gave them, because now they're almost like revolt against the cause. They had too much of one thing, and now they think they're like the big and bad dog of the house. They want to be the alpha. They want to be the leader. I'm not this whole like, oh, be the alpha, be in charge, but I do believe in strong leadership. You have a dog that's not listening. You have to exert more leadership and help them understand what you want from them in that moment. So I think we just got to pull back and kind of help them understand that you guys are in charge and they are still the dog of the family. Okay, that's all my questions. I did pretty good. What was that, 27 minutes? Any other questions, Ricky? You see anything in there?
Nothing popped up. Do you want to talk a bit about our online school details?
Oh, I like it. Okay. So if you guys did like the questions that you asked and you had responded to, check out our online school. We have 8 videos that are honestly phenomenal. It's Bethany and I kind of going over and all the difficult stuff. We have workshops where you can go in and talk about potty training, separation anxiety. We have a firework video. We have a grooming video, a handling video. And in our 1 to 8 classes, we go over come sit down, stay. We go over loose-leash walking, heel, let's go, place work, playstration, the 3 Ds, distance, duration, distraction. A ton of really, really great information in all those videos that can help you with most issues that you're going through. It is geared for puppies that are in between like 3 months old all the way to about 8 months old, but still I've had quite a few older dogs join that program and still pull a lot of benefit from it, especially our Rhodesian Ridgeback. You might be able to pull some good stuff from it. And also our adolescent dog that was found at 9 months old. As far as I'm concerned, that dog is probably still a puppy at heart, because it maybe hasn't had a lot of training, hasn't had a lot of steps in the right level of maturity. So all those videos could help you tremendously. But yeah, check them out.
And they get access to you every Wednesday.
And they get access to us every Wednesday at 4 p.m. for a full hour. So if you guys like the 30 minutes that you get here, definitely check that out. You get us for a full hour there. We actually will bring in dogs and demonstrate different techniques with different dogs. So if you're struggling with your dog doing a down, and maybe every time you lure them down, the butt comes up and the body stays down in the front, and then eventually they stand, we'll actually demonstrate how to get a dog to respond and keep that butt low. So a lot of different tools for you, a lot of different examples of how you guys can work your pup in different environments too. We have inside and outside in the majority of those videos.
Check out the link in our bio for more details.
Check out the link in our bio for more details. I almost said like and subscribe. That's how conditioned you have me. Okay guys, and if we have no questions, that's all we have for today. Bethany will be back next week to balance out my fast talking. All right guys, take care. Bye-bye. Now awkward smile time.